What I'm going to talk about here is why innovation history matters. History and innovation seem to go well together, but how and why? If you think about Wainwright's famous guidebooks, where would he have been without map history? How would he have developed them without drawing on the routes created by quarrymen, miners, and ancient tracks? If we think about climbing guide is about who did what, where, and when. Whose route was it? And that's not just about the provenance of the route, but what was it like? You can tell, or you get a feel for what a route's going to be like by who was the first ascensionist, whether it was Joe Brown, Don Willans, or Pat Littlejohn. And first ascensionists would be very aggrieved if you didn't give them credit, and that's all about history. But I think where the record's not so good is the record of what was used on routes. And what we set out to do in Outdoor Gear Coaches is counteract that and think about what, for example, did first ascensionists not have. And that's not just to increase respect for their achievement, but it's important to understand this, to understand the pathway for innovations that are needed next. History is viewed as important by innovation academics such as James Utterback of MIT, who says, those who study history and understand theory make better predictions. And of course, management uses case studies as a highly successful method, for example, at Harvard Business School. History, accompanied by critical analysis, is simply a long wave case study. Innovative businesses believe history is important. Anyone who wants to design for the future has to leaf through the past, is the firm belief of companies such as BMW and Mercedes-Benz. They've invested millions in their museums, which are co-located with their innovation centres in futuristic buildings. And this isn't just for nostalgia's sake or to boost marketing. It's because of the belief that innovation is informed by history. And innovative outdoor businesses also value history. For example, Patagonia. Their whole approach to their products and the environment is based on taking the long view. Similarly, Mountain Equipment Cooperative. Their innovative business model is firmly linked to their history. 10 years ago, we published Invisible on Everest, which was the first overview of outdoor gear from clothing, tents and climbing hardware, covering 200 years. What we are doing in Outdoor Gear Coach is making our research and narrative more accessible through analysis and through use of infographics and other training material. For example, we use the 4 types of innovation, which mirror the areas of any organisation: business model, process, product and service, to build deeper understanding of our innovation history. And we also use the diffusion curve, again something that we developed our understanding during our courses. Any innovation follows a roughly F-shaped diffusion pattern, and we use diffusion to understand as much about what failed as what succeeded. And if we think about the innovation journey, it's a bit like an expedition. It's rarely simple or linear, involves false starts, and some innovations, in this case we're suggesting George Finch's 1922 custom-made down jacket, was ahead of its time. It's not until after the Second World War that innovation really took off. Downproof products were the main problem stopping diffusion. Pierre Alain used rubber-coated silk in the 1930s, and when Pete Hutchinson started making gear in the 1960s, existing French garments leaked like sieves. I think there's another advantage of history, as Chuck Kukla, our collaborator at MIT, suggests. He works with the American retailer REI, and he says knowing how a product has evolved can enable reverse engineering of those products which originally failed, and that can help it succeed by using emerging technologies. And emerging technologies are important because very few new radical innovations, whether in the outdoors or more widely, are based entirely on new knowledge. They combine what's happening now, the emerging technologies, with old knowledge. And if you think about many outdoor companies that combined emerging technology, be thinking of Patagonia, Berghaus, Pertex, Wild Country, they all put old and new together to solve problems. Is it the case that history really only matters for designers? Well, Chuck Kukla makes the point that in retailing, say you have a customer that comes back to the sport after several years out, they can be bewildered by dramatic change. Having a knowledge, a good grasp of 10 to 15 years of innovation of what's changed can really help support customers in their choice. Finally, innovators all build on past knowledge. They stand on the shoulders of giants, just as Isaac Newton did. No single innovation by any individual or brand can be fully understood unless it's set against the experience and knowledge of those who went before. This doesn't detract from achievement of the innovation, but it can explain why it succeeded.